So in the earlier video, we talked about the while loop, all right, and as I mentioned, there are two main types of loops. One is the while loop and the other is basically the for loop. All right, now when do I use for loop? Okay, so for loops are very useful when you want to go through items in, for example, a list, okay, a collection. All right, so when you want to go through a collection of items that you have stored, all right, then you can use for loop, all right, quite effectively. All right, so let me show you how to write a for loop. For example, I can say for item in, let's say this 4 5 6 7 8, okay, print item. Okay, now what does this code do? Okay, so when I write a for loop for item in this is basically a list. All right, so what the for loop does is it goes through each element or each item inside this list one by one, and for each iteration of the loop I assign the corresponding element to this variable called item, and then I print. So the very first time that I run the loop, I will take for and put it into item, then I can print it out. The second time I will take 5 and put it into item and print it out, and so on. Alright, so basically what is happening is each time I'm running the loop. Okay, so maybe let me draw it out here so it can be a bit clearer. Okay, let me come here and okay, so basically what is happening is the for loop in this case, when it is used in a list or a collection of items, I will iterate through all of the items inside this list. Okay, and for each iteration I will take the corresponding element, okay, in this list and assign it to the variable. So the very first time that I run, all right, I will take 4 and put into item, so item will be equals to 4. The second iteration of the loop, okay, I will take 5 and put into item, and so on. Alright, so each time, okay, in this loop is a very simple loop. I'm just going to print out the item. Alright, so let me show you. So in this case, if I run the code, basically I print out all the items one by one. Alright, now you can of course create your own list, okay, and go through the process again. So for example, I say list 1 equals to 3 2 7, alright, and I can just say for, okay, so the variable name that you use here can be anything. Okay, so I've used item, but I can just use anything. So I can say for num in list 1 print num. Okay, so you can use any variable name. Okay, so basically what is happening here is this is list 1, all right, and with this for loop I will iterate through each item in list 1, and for each iteration of the loop I will assign that corresponding item to the variable num, and now I'm going to print it out. Okay, so this is what you get. Okay, so of course this also applies, okay, this applies also to strings, okay, to strings. So for example here, if I say list 2 equals to, okay, 2 3 4 5 6 and so on, and I can do the same thing for item in list 2 print item. Okay, and you get the same thing. Alright, so as we know, a list can have a mix of different data types. Alright, so it doesn't matter. So all I'm doing is I'm going through the entire list, okay, one by one, and each time I'm assigning the corresponding item or corresponding data to this variable here, and then I'm printing it out. Alright, so that is how you can use for, alright, in the context of accessing items within a list. Alright, so we will look at more examples on how to use loops, alright, in many other different applications. Okay, so thank you for watching. I'll see you in my next video. Bye.